and welcome to ET Studios HR Connect in association with ETHR World. I'm your host Himanshi Tiwari. Now, in this episode of HR Connect series, we're going to dive deep into the world of HR automation and technology in talent management while exploring some key areas such as performance management systems, D&I, L&D, employee value propositions, future of work, and much more. We are joined in by two distinguished panelists, Rajesh Rai, CHRO GlobalLogic, and Shantanu Dhar, CHRO Hindustan Power. Now, thank you, gentlemen, for joining us today. It's a pleasure to have you both here. So, without any further ado, and with great pleasure, I would like to start this discussion by asking you, Rajesh. Let's discuss the role of technology in talent management and how it has evolved over the years. And if you see some emerging trends that are coming in this domain, what would that be?
Yes, lots of. Thank you, first of all, for the opportunity and lots of new trends. I come from a tech company, so I can relate to the topic very well. I come from GlobalLogic, a Hitachi Group company. And what I have seen across is there is a lot of data, there is a lot of insights, there is a lot of trend mapping, there's a lot of predictive analysis of things that we do which are related to talent. And these could be how your skills are moving as trends change. This could be talent and data insights on performance management. This could be enablers like we use metaverse for onboarding, right? So instead of a regular paper pen model, it's a gamified version of welcoming employees. This could be benefits that you can really introduce, communications that you can do on digital media. I think technology today really enables all employees to get all the information they want on their fingertips. And that is very useful because, and the other piece that technology has helped us, especially, is the personalization of what an employee wants, right? So if somebody may be interested in a faster career and also doing, say, corporate social responsibility, today technology enables that employee to get a lot of information from us to help the employee achieve what they're wanting to do as part of their aspirations. So a huge change and more change to come with Gen AI coming in and taking center stage. And that's what we are working on now to make sure that talent management and Gen AI, how can we use them together for maximum benefit?
When it comes to hybrid working in the remote culture, especially post COVID, so I'm sure technology might help in kind of easing out the processes, but how do you maintain this culture angle that you're talking about?
Technology in a hybrid space has been a brilliant enabler, first of all, right? Like we guys use the G Suite, and collaborating on documents or presentations you're making on the G Suite is so easy, right? But from the cultural perspective, you have to get to training managers and supervisors and employees as well of what does it really mean to engage somebody in a virtual mode, like, in this hybrid mode. And I always say that take care of the moments that matter, even in a hybrid mode, because look, an employee is a human, right? And we are all human. We'll all need social connections, no matter how much we want to stay home or not come in a hybrid. And that's what we did. So what we did was we trained the entire line of leaders, supervisors, everybody. And we kept training them, even during the pandemic time, saying these are the things not to do, these are the things to do. Look out for these things like how is the employee feeling, what is going on in their head at this point of time, sitting away from you and you can't see them every day. So I think the cultural element comes there, but technology is a blessing there. Imagine without technology, you can't have any calls, you can't do anything, right? So it's been a blessing.
And what's your opinion on the personalization angle? Because when we are talking about human touch, even personalization angle helps a lot. Now with technology, do you feel it has enhanced the whole decision making process when it comes to managing talent pools or any other system for that matter?
Yes.
So how do you
So
see
I'll
this
give you a
scenario?
metric. I think almost 60 to 70% of our leadership roles get filled internally, right, by GL. And there is a method to that madness, and the method is personalization. It takes a lot of effort, but technology helps us in making sure that employees have access to the latest learning systems. We have about 13 plus academies where employees are continuously upskilling themselves. There is a host of technical certifications. There is a digital ecosystem that's on learning, which you can adopt at any given point of time. And plus, we have these data insights on their performance, right? In fact, the L&D teams, HR teams, and the business teams, they get together to a point where they discuss threadbare, person by person, of what they have access to and how they can navigate their career within GlobalLogic. Now, that is how personalization has helped us. So, I'm a really big proponent of personalization for an employee, saying let them grow their career the way they like rather than the way we like.
Right.
And that's what we do at GL. I think technology has been, again, a blessing because they have access to so much today that if it wasn't for technology, we wouldn't have been able to do all of this.
Yeah, so when it comes to talent management, like you said, internal hiring has helped you a lot. Now, succession and merit planning also comes into picture at this point. So, how do you see technology facilitate your decision making when it comes to succession and merit planning?
Well, two things. One is definitely a lot of data insights. How has the performance been over a period of time? What are some of the trends that we look at? So, a lot of insights. And as I said, now with Gen AI coming, as we speak, we're actually developing a system where employees would be able to choose their careers through this digital landscape, through Gen AI, right? So, so data insights is one. Second is those data insights will give you trends and priorities, right? And then you know what to focus on. And that's where the human intervention comes in. So it's a mix and match of both. Succession is not a straight line. Like technology alone can never do it. Right? So technology helps us with a lot of insights, trends, analytics, sometimes even predictive. Right? And then you have the human intervention to see, okay, what fits our need of building leaders of the future. And we've been on that journey. We are on a 3x and a 5x journey. So we are doing this like every single day, every single week, right? We are investing in building those future leaders through this combined approach.
All right, basically maintaining a balance between the human angle and technology.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Right. So now, Shantanu, let's know from you. When we talk about performance management system, it's a big part of this domain that we are talking about. Now, performance management system has actually seen a major acceleration in terms of technology. The systems have revamped and how, especially post pandemic. So let's know from you how in your company or how companies should actually use HR technology or harness HR technology to kind of revamp their performance management system, and how technology can actually help in such systems.
Okay, so let's first understand, why performance management. So, you can't really measure the output of management staff. That's why, we give them something called a compensation. So what's a compensation? Compensation is, I'm compensating you for the time that you're spending in the organization, right? That's why, and that's the main reason why you have these swiping and these, retina, and et cetera, and all of that. It measures the time. While wages is different, what you give to the workman is because you can measure their output very easily. I mean, itna electricity generate kiya, itne bags of cement banaya, and so on and so forth. So performance management, a good performance management system, for example, I'm a big fan of the balanced scorecard, right? Should not measure your day-to-day activities, because the fixed portion of your compensation is compensating you to do for what you do your day-to-day activities. So the impact of that has to be on the variable of what you do over and above your day-to-day activities, which has a direct linkage to the company's strategy. So strategy could be very simple. Profitability has to be up by about 15%, right? Should be. What is it, those actions amongst those 4 quadrants that you're going to take, which are measurable, observable, etc., that is going to, make you achieve that, which will help the company achieve its strategy. The strategy which is then linked to the vision statement, etc., the vision statement. Where does technology come in? Technology comes in linking that work which you're going to do directly with the company strategy. Okay, and that's a fantastic thing, because that I wouldn't leave to people, because that's a number game. right? That's a simple. Even if you have a project management team, they have to get a chimney up by a particular time, so that you're able to so that all the regulatory framework which is there as far as your pollution is concerned, okay, you've got all of those things done within that period of time, else your plant you will be fined, etc., and so on and so forth. So technology can come in. Technology is I would use it there to make that linkage very, very clear. The other aspect is of performance management is, like, I'm a big fan of having 2 cycles. One cycle is completely based upon your balanced scorecard, outcome of which is only on the variable pay, nothing else. No other decision is actually taken. The other is your competency development. Okay, that's where like, for example, I'm a big fan of the new competency assessment modules, which are completely AI based. Right, they ask you a few questions, you answer that, right, and then it calculates and says, okay, these are your strengths. Okay, these are the areas of development. The impact of that portion of the appraisal is on the increment and on the career. So technology can play a big role in these 2 activities. I'm very passionate about that.
Oh, wow, lovely. I mean, now talking about AI, so how do you see now AI is changing the whole talent management scenario, and with chatbots, chat GPT, metaverse, everything coming in? How do you see, the work culture or work scenario is going to change in the coming years, and where will the human angle of HR be?
See, one great thing that ChatGPT and these bots, etc., has done, that it's freed up HR people from doing everyday drudgery kind of work. Yeah, it's freed up that. I mean, I love to see my team that they have the time now to get into development work, and that's a big, huge motivator. Otherwise, I mean, during my our days, somebody wanted leave, they would come there. I mean, every day you're just doing transaction after transaction after transaction. There's a memo being signed and all of that. Even when I was in HCL, it used to happen. I remember in HCL we had first come up with with an animated. So there was a big joke. So there was this animated, young lady. You could ask questions to her and all of that. And so one day, the HR head of HCL America came, and he asked me, "Who's the person behind this animated lady?" So I said, "It's a guy called George Verghese, who had this big beard and all of that." So, but yeah, we went there. So essentially, what it does is, first of all, it's ease. Right, you just interact with that bot, or you interact with that AI, and you say, I need leave, or I need to take a loan, I need to take an advance, I need to go here, I need to travel here, etc. And that then interacts, etc. And there you get your travel ticket. You get the thing. It calculates how much advance you can take and all of that, and it leaves HR out of it. With those millions of paperwork and all of that, and that leaves your HR team to get more and more developed. Where they start doing real, I mean, for lack of a better word, real HR work, which is the development portion of it. Because my alma mater is ITC. I've even worked for Walmart in the US. I think companies like a Walmart or an ITC, they understand what employee engagement truly is. An employee will get engaged if they see that the company is willing to take a stand for your development. Like in ITC, we used to have in those days a minimum 15 days of training you have to do, which used to be in your boss's KRA, not in my KRA. The works manager had that you have to ensure that everybody reporting to you is doing a minimum of 15 days of training in a month. So I think, yeah, these are the areas where AI will really help and is helping.
All right, Rajesh, let's get you in this as well. Talking about the transaction elements of HR and how AI is going to help. But with AI, we have seen a lot of automation horrors, right? With respect to attendance systems or salary lapses. So, how do you see? I mean, how can we mitigate those risks while using
Look,
technology?
I fundamentally believe it will evolve. It's too early, and the world is figuring it out. But they would be able to figure it out and really eliminate the non-value adding transactional pieces where you're collating a lot of information and there could be manual errors there, right? So the beauty of AI is that it can help you do that, right? What you do with that information is then the human side of things. While it will also provide you with analytics and data insights. Like we have like on performance management, several AI-based clickable, customizable dashboards, right, which will give you a sense of how your live performance is happening, right? It will tell you in numbers. So I think the world will progress, it will evolve, but it's a very powerful tool to get to intelligent decision making on most talent subjects, right? Earlier it was all about getting a lot of data together, a lot of information manually together, and then drawing up on Excels or G Sheets, the charts and trends and all that. All that gets eliminated. Today you have the data with you. Now what are you going to do with that is what Gen AI is going to, sort of facilitate.
But with the use of AI and analytics, the concern of data privacy and security also comes in.
Yeah,
So,
it
how do you
does.
see that concern, and how companies can actually mitigate that concern while harnessing such technologies?
It's also data privacy, it is bias to an extent. But the way I see it is that the way Gen AI has to be deployed has to be customized to you. Like what we are doing at GlobalLogic is customized to us, which means we are not going to a public platform and using data that's available anywhere. We don't do that. Also because we work for clients and we are very careful about data privacy and confidentiality. So you just cannot do that. But you can always develop solutions the way we are doing for your own self and for your own use. And likewise, something that we do for our clients as well. Now, that is a protected system, right? So you're using the technology to harness the same system, right? Internal systems, and get you the data and get you the insights, whatever you want to do.
Right.
So that's how you take care of data privacy. And well, bias is a bit of a complex subject because while you can say, we can eliminate bias, but bias never 100% gets eliminated, right? And possibly there some human intervention is always required to make sure that you're taking the right set of action.
Yeah, even AI comes with inherent biases.
That's right. So that's where you sort of train your managers, leaders to be very, very careful. Like we have more than 1,500 of our leaders who are trained to interview, right? Talking about what Shantanu said, that you just cannot eliminate, just because there's technology, you can't eliminate a culture fit interview or an interaction, right? So they're trained so that they don't get into bias, right? So likewise, so I think Gen AI and human centric intervention go hand in hand.
Yeah, but I'm sure that works for a tech company like you. Let's talk about Hindustan Power. I mean, how such technologies are going to help, or for Hindustan Power, what's the percentage of technology and human angle?
So let's not talk about Hindustan Power. Let's talk about the core industry, right? So let's talk about, say, power companies or coal companies or steel, cement, etc. I think there is only so much that you can do as far as tech is concerned. These are very, very people intensive. Talking about people intensive, I'm not talking about from a numbers perspective. Right? Naturally, we can't have the kind of numbers which he would have, or an HCL would have. But the people that work there are very highly skilled. Right. So, for example, if you are working in a cement organization, other than finance or HR, everybody else is a cement professional. Right. So same way for the power industry also. Like everybody is an expert, brings a certain amount of expertise in the power industry, including maybe, like for example, cement. One of the major exclusive hot skill out there is project management. Right. How fast can you set up a 3.5 ton cement plant in 18 months flat? Right. I mean, you have equipment over there which are the world's largest parts of industrial equipment, transporting all of that, setting it up, right? The kiln, the heat inside the kiln is around 1/3 the surface of the sun. So you're talking about that kind of thing. The other thing is safety, right? People working in a software development center, okay, I mean, other than, God forbid, a fire or something happening, here the safety matter is huge. It's just huge. I mean, you can have a blast at any point of time. You can have a silo where a person is walking by and gets buried in it. It's like, so AI can only give you certain protocols in these kind of matters. There you need the human feet on the ground, and not just the supervisors or the HODs, the plant head, the HR head, everybody. For example, Whenever I've worked for a manufacturing organization, I have gone to the manufacturing locations for at least minimum 3 days a month. Maximum, even 10 to 15 days a month, especially if there's a new project happening, right? Where does AI come into it? It doesn't. You have to be there, feet on the ground. Have I answered your question?
Yeah, very rightly so. So, when we talk about your experience, you've worked in ITC, HCL, now you are here in Hindustan Power, and I'm sure a lot of other places. But how has been your experience over the years as an HR person, and how has been the evolution of HR now that we are talking about technology from where it started when you started?
Okay, good question. Let's start with Walmart. I studied at Pittsburgh State, and I was hired as a management trainee for Walmart. So I went for my management trainee program thinking, retail here, you got to do stack shelves and all of that. And on the very first day, Rick Rubicam, who was my training head, he was the store head, and he said that, what is Walmart's core competence? So I was like, I try to be smart and say that it was about selling items. He said, no, the core competence is technology. And he said, do you know that other than IBM and probably another company, Walmart was the only company that had its own satellite in space? I am talking about 1995. Wow. Right? In those days, Walmart had the technology, like if you were to buy this pen, right, and you swipe it, okay, it would send a signal to the satellite saying that store 41, this kind of a pen has been sold, replenished the next morning at 5 a.m. It would be replenished. Okay, so that's the kind of 95, right? I know I'm old. So, okay, so that's the kind of technology that Walmart had at that point of time. So dependence on technology was very high. So the core, that was an eye opener for me. That the world's largest retailer says, my core competency is technology, right? And that's what enables me to run these stores. I went back, interesting, 2019, I was in California and Detroit for about a week. Then I took a week off to go back to my university. I stayed with my professor, Dr. Mark Johnson. And I said, let's go to Walmart. The same Walmart where I used to work. And I was shocked. There were no store clerks there.
Anymore.
Oh.
No store clerks.
Only technology handling.
Yes. We went there, we bought stuff. It just came out, we swiped it, we paid and we walked out. Okay, so that's what, that's cool. Now, when I came back to India and I rejoined ITC, I was in ITC before I had gone for my master's, and I was in the Munger plant. I was in the packaging and printing division. In those days, each of us were given Macs, right? And in those days, of course, we used to, in those days, India didn't have coated board. What is coated board? Coated board is, it is basically paper board in which the ink does not run. We didn't have the technology. Padachalam paper boards started making it later on. We used to import coated board from Europe. I think it was from Norway. You're talking about each bale was 1 ton. Okay, so these bales had to be brought via vessels, via ships, and then they had to be transported all the way to Munger. What enabled that? Technology. Yeah, I'm talking about 1996, 1997. Technology enabled that. And then as ITC as a company has always been, I remember 89 when I joined them, we had a software called BOSS, Branch Ordering Software System. So basically those days, we were marketing supervisors, so we would go to our sections. I was managing, North Bengal at the point of time, including Bhutan and Sikkim. So physically, you had to go and map each and every route to say how many pan ke dukan, how many shops are there, where your cigarettes will be sold. We used to come back there and enter that in the branch or in the BOSS system, branch ordering software system. Those days, it would take us up to 3 days to be able to fill it. Right? That would then give the factories how much production they have to make brand-wise. Right? Then the factory would then send that details through the branch ordering system to the entire supply chain management, okay, who would then set off the trucks, the rakes, etc., which they would go. The point I'm trying to make is technology, if you see any company that has grown, whether in India or abroad, they have invested enormously in technology, right? Those who haven't are not there anymore. Yeah, they're not there anymore. Sorry, I wanted to give you a non-HR response in this. Okay, so
But let's know from Rajesh also. How about your experience with respect to HR over the years?
I think one thing that has definitely changed has been employee experience has always been the center stage, but the definition of employee experience today is far more digital, combined with human intervention, right? So, and I come in from consulting, Arthur Andersen days, later Ernst and Young, and having worked with a lot of clients at that time also, the tech focus was always there, right? So at that time we would implement even ERPs or make custom solutions, right, for our clients. But the base was always tech, because that would alleviate the experience of the clients as well as of the employees. But after that, I've worked with a lot of companies like Expedia as an example, right? And Expedia is an e-commerce company, right? And the entire base is technology, right? For travel, right? And amazing travel, like you get the best of deals there, right? They're also a consortium of a lot of companies for those people who know Expedia well. So again, the base was technology. I worked with Adobe, and they have some of the best products in the tech space in the industry even today. And if you go through their evolution of products, again, absolutely amazing and outstanding, right? So to Shantanu's point, I think technology has always been right at the center. What it does to HR, and then I was part of Accenture, and Accenture was at scale, like many thousands and lakhs of employees in India. You cannot reach those employees if you don't have technology as the base. It's impossible, right? Reaching, say, 300,000 employees is impossible. So tech plays a very important role. For HR now, I think it's a great opportunity, because you can use technology. Again, GenAI could be one means, but you have many other ways in which you can use technology to build your reach, to communicate to your employees, give them personalized approaches for careers, for their upskilling. And I'll give you an example. We very recently at GL, at GlobalLogic, implemented a parental care solution called from Yoda. Okay, Yoda Care. You can Google it. Now, there are many times that as sons and daughters, we are not, as children, we are not close to our parents, and they're alone, and they might need some emergency help, right? Now, this app really enables parents to get that emergency help within a trusted network just at the click of a button. Now, that's possible only because there is technology, right? And now, as I said, we are developing the solution for our employees where they can enter a few details and actually configure a career path for themselves, saying, okay, maybe these are the 3, 4 options or 5 options I can consider if I want to really build my career at GL, at GlobalLogic. So I think we've come a long way, but this phase is a very creative phase for HR, to be honest, right? We can use all the technology of that's coming in and use it to our benefit. And I've always considered HR as a really big contributor to the P&L. And I think these are ways and means. The minute you retain your talent, the minute you upskill them for bigger roles, what you're doing indirectly is really contributing to the P&L, right? So this is, in my head, this is a very, very good age for people professionals. They must, and it's a must, they must use technology to enhance, alleviate the employee experience they are wanting to give to their people.
Yeah, like Shantanu said, I mean, you cannot do away with technology. For a few companies, it might be their core competency, but I think it stands true for most of the companies now.
I don't know who said in one of my companies, somebody said that today every company is a technology company, irrespective of which sector you are in. So I think, yes.
So we've already spoken about the past. Let's discuss about the future of work. So how do you see technologies changing the future of work? Now we have already seen hybrid and remote setting. What else are you expecting in terms of a future of work
I
in
do
technology?
feel that so definitely transactional work over a period of time will go away, is how I see it. or will come down if it doesn't completely go away, because technology will take center stage. The other thing that I see is that with all the data, the information, the insights, the predictability, numbers, all of that, trends, all of that, decision making would be, again, very intelligent and informed, not eliminating the human intervention. So what is going to happen is that possibly some roles and in some industries would get reconfigured to do more intelligent work as opposed to some transactional work that they may be doing right now. So the future of work, as I see, is that this transformation will happen. May not happen immediately because it's too early to say that, but over the next about few years, this transformation is definitely imminent. So what is in it for people is to make sure that their upskilling and learning agenda is forefront, right? You just cannot survive without being in tune with what skills you need in the coming horizon, say another 3 years, and the horizons are shorter, right? 3 years, 2 years, 1 year, 5 years. Those are the kind of horizons I'm talking about. Sometimes in the tech industry, the horizon can also be 6 months, right?
Yeah.
So depending on which industry you are in, I think the need to upskill, the need to stay market relevant is very, very important. Something that we do at GlobalLogic, I mean, because maybe we are tech,
Right.
so the need is even far more. Like, I'll tell you, my own leaders, every Friday, 8 a.m. to 12 noon, 4 hours, they used to learn from each other. It was peer-to-peer learning. Globally, they would get together. And the reason why they would do that is because the pace of change in tech is so fast.
Yeah.
Right? So we would discuss, what have we done for different clients? What are the new technologies coming in? How can we get proficient? How can we be ahead of the curve?
Right.
Right? Now, if you were to get the same example for a fellow employee in any sector, they should follow that for themselves as well. So the need for upskilling, staying market relevant, will be even more important now as far as future of work goes.
All right. Now we talk about tech companies, and you're talking about upskilling and being market relevant. So, what do you prefer as a tech company? It's skills versus experience. I mean, you opt for skills or
Well, skills applied to get experience.
wow, that's a
Right?
wonderful answer.
Right? The reason, and this comes directly from experience, that it's very easy. So GlobalLogic believes in build versus buy, always, right? We are very high on that. And it helps because you may be a certification, you may have got a Python certification, something, or DevOps, or any other tech skill. Till the time you really know how to apply it, your experience is not there.
True.
It's just an academic
that's
thing, right? So skill applied to get that experience is very, very important. And that is where our focus should be. That's something that we measure as well, as far as performance goes for employees, but that is the key.
So I have another point about the future, if I may. So if I look at a tech-enabled future, I'm seeing a few trends which are very interesting. The number of gig workers today are actually growing, right? Now, in my time, I've written a few film scripts and all of that. I've got friends in the film industry. It's a complete gig economy. The OTT, the film industry, it's a complete. They're very bright kids, right? They'll come there, work on a project for about 3 to 6 months, take a break for 3 months, start off another project. So what I am seeing is, today, the transformation that still has to happen in the corporate world is from cooperation to collaboration. Right now, as humans, we run a corporate world full of collaboration. So what is collaboration? It basically means that, somebody can be working in London, somebody can be working in Bihar, somebody could be working in Bombay, and they're all cooperating to get a job done. Like I gave you example of bales coming in from Norway, etc. That's all cooperation. Now in cooperation, what happens is, in cooperation, it happens like this. I'm giving my 100%. I expect 100%, but I get 90%. Hey, but that's human nature. The moment I get 90%, I start giving 80%. The moment he sees or she sees, hey, that's 80%, she'll give 70%, 60, 50. It breaks down at some point of time, right? So the conversations break down only because of cooperation. I think tech as an enabler will bring us to the next level, which is collaboration. And collaboration is something which we have not yet achieved, in my opinion. I think collaboration is when I am on your side, right? I do things for you, like I do things for my own children, without expecting anything in return. I'm not saying that we should have a patriarchal or a matriarchal setup at the workplace, but it becomes that, here's my expertise, okay, and I'm going to give you my 100% at each time. And that can happen only through tech. But that will truly happen when employees stop feeling that they are being exploited by organizations. You ask any employee, I'm exploited. Why is that? Let's go a little bit deep into that particular thought. See, human thought is the least researched subject in this world, right? There's only Edward de Bono who wrote, the 6 thinking hats. And till about 3 years ago, only 3 or 4 American universities even offered a credit on human thought. We don't understand that. You're taking human beings, you're saying, get a degree. You're bundling them into a closed room for 8.5, 9 hours per day, 5 days a week, the best time of the week, the best time of the day, the best time of their life. You are actually putting them into something which the human brain sees as for a want of a better word, a jail. Right? And so they do it day in, day out, day in, day out, day in, day out, looking forward to a Saturday and Sunday. Right? And on a Sunday night, they're like, oh God, I got to go back to work. I think technology, what it will do is, one of the wonders I want technology to actually do is to cut down that amount of time. Okay, enable employees, instead of working 5 days, 6 day weeks, we work normally 6 day weeks, our plans run 7 days. Cut it down to 3 days, 4 days. Can technology do that? I feel, maybe not in my lifetime, or maybe during my lifetime, my children's lifetime definitely, they will see a tech-enabled work where the majority of the workforce is gig-based, right? They will not be putting in the kind of hours my generation or his generation, your generation is actually putting in. Work-life balance is much, much better. And they're working 3 to 4 days a week. But that would be utopia.
And no, the start has already been made.
I'm already manifesting this future now that you have said.
No, seriously, the start has already been made, because we do work with clients where, let's say, previously you would do say a construction work manually, right? You would read a manual and you would go step by step by step. Now, all of that is available as a DIY. And you open the app, it will exactly tell you what measurements to take or what to do, and you just go ahead and do it.
3D printing?
I mean, it's so different than the previous world. So I think a good start has been made, and we hope that it'll bring in more of the utopia that Shantanu just spoke about.
All right, brilliant. That was such a good conversation, gentlemen. But before ending this conversation, we have just introduced a rapid fire round. And we would like to know the answers from you. So, quick answers and quirky insights. Yeah. So, Shantanu, let's start from you. If not HR, then what?
I would have been an author full time.
I am very sure about that.
Now I'm sure too.
I could have been a lot of things. Maybe a vocalist, maybe an author, a painter for sure. I paint a lot. So yeah, these 3 things all combined into one.
Then what's your work-life motto in a nutshell?
Work out, go to work, 5 days a week, and spend time with my wife during weekends and our close friends. I think we've been mom and dad for too long. Now we are empty nesters, so it's time to be husband and wife again. So that's what I look for during weekends.
Yeah, and you, Rajesh?
Well, just work hard, live and let live. I think that's my motto always.
Live and let live. Yeah. So you play the role of HR when you are in the office. What's after office? What role do you play when you are outside of the office?
A very well trained and obedient husband.
With the 26 years of marriage, I am sure you're saying it right.
No, I stopped being an HR guy the moment I step out of the office.
Oh, it's very similar for me. No HR after you've left the office. Yeah, no, absolutely. An obedient husband, a father, a friend, many other roles, right? But definitely not HR outside.
All right. So what's the wackiest employee who you have heard in your HR role over these years?
Shanti, you want to go first?
Yeah, I think it was the late Mr. S. Raman, the founder of HCL Tech. He passed away in 2010, was like a father figure to me. I reported to him directly. He never believed in management science. I mean, you talk management science with him, he would literally throw the book out of the window. So he used to have this really quirky habit. He would walk around the software development center and talk to people, and then he will say that, and that's what he did to me also. Like, how long have you been working here? What are the main things you have done? What have you achieved? Okay, you're reporting to me from tomorrow onwards. He used to do that, because he basically believed, he didn't believe in hierarchy and structure and all of that. Work has to be done, and if I feel that you're the guy, so for example, way back in 2000, I'm talking about 2001, 2002. I was in my early 30s, 2 small kids, and he said, okay, you report to me, and then one day he says, we need to build continental Europe. You do it. It was like that. Tremendous amount of empowerment, and all successes are yours. Failures used to be his. I miss that man. I miss him. He was a father figure to me.
Yeah, for me, it's Mr. N.S. Rajan. You may know him.
N.S.
N.S., absolutely. I worked with him when he was a partner at EY, and then later on he became Mr. Mistri's executive team member as well. I think the best part of his is he would absolutely give you all the empowerment, but leave that little room for you to sort of develop yourself. Right? And that could be a feedback moment. It could be, and he likes these, he has written a book, I forget the name of the book, but absolutely quirky, wacky one-liners, right? My good fortune that I used to get to listen those one-liners in person. But he's written a book, so you can actually buy that book now, and they're wonderful. He posts those on LinkedIn as well, and every time I love it. Like for example, I still remember one very vivid moment. So we were submitting a proposal, and we were just at, I think 2:30 was the time, and we were at 2:25, and the lift wasn't coming, and I think it was on the 8th floor or 9th floor of the client. So what I did was I said, sir, I will go, and I went. So I climbed up. So, and then I submitted nick of time, done. And then he comes with this big chocolate and with a one-liner saying it pays to be fit. And he hands it over to me, right? So, I mean, just an amazing pleasure to be with him, around him, to listen to him, and of course, to be in touch. He was an amazing mentor, but a very wacky HR professional, never conforming to the norms. And that's what we guys learned from him.
His batchmate, Ravi Shankar, was my boss in HC.
Okay.
Another quirky guy.
I'm sure. Now, thank you, gentlemen, for this conversation. It was a brilliant conversation. We have spilled some beans on being good husbands and good fathers.
We try to.
Yeah, and we've spoken about how technology has evolved in these few years, your experiences and everything. Thank you so much for your time. It was a wonderful conversation.
Thanks for having me over.